Hey everyone, it's Kiki here, and I'm doing another fairy this week. I found the butterfly that inspired this fairy back when I was looking for the butterfly for the commission piece that I did, and I just saw it, I'm like, that is a dark fairy. That's just what that is. So I'm drawing a dark fairy, and I'm like, hey, while I'm at it, I might as well make her like a queen, right? So I went back and I had found a pencil sketch of just a generic fairy that I had liked the pose that it did for. I think I drew it back in like 2015, and I used that as the base and then adjusted little things here and there. The paper sketches that I pull up, I didn't have the ability to record really because I was actually at my grandmother's watching Face Off while I sketched them out. But I really liked how the sketches turned out, and I really like how the final picture turned out. Just how I managed to get like the flowy movement of her dress and her hair and such. And I just really like how we did her ear. That I know it sounds weird, but I like her ear. Probably because it's not like the typical like just I'm pointy. Like I kind of gave it that kind of curve. I did add a few things from the initial sketches I did, such as her gloves, the shoes, and the leg things, leg warmers. I don't know what they would be called. And I did adjust my initial idea for the colors on her corset. But other than that, pretty much the design is exactly how I did it in the very first rough sketch that I posted on Twitter a long while back. But yeah, I had fun with this, and it didn't take me too long. I think it took me about 6 hours to do. At times it felt like it didn't take that long, and at times it was like, wow, this is taking a really long time. And then I looked at the final time, it didn't take very long at all. But I tried to keep it simple and elegant and tried not to like embellish too much and just make it overly exuberant. I tried to keep it real, just there, but fancy there, if that makes sense. Probably not. Hardly anything I say makes sense, especially when I'm tired, which I happen to be right now. The gradient on her dress I had some issues with. It was supposed to be black, red, silver, red, black. And the silver was supposed to kind of sit where the corset is, and you're supposed to just like see a little bit over the corset and a little bit below the corset. And I was having issues making it not look awkward and like muddy and stuff, but I eventually got it with like some touching up and stuff to where I liked it. I did have to do it in a little bit of an odd way. I had to do like the dress section, and then I had to do the sleeves because the sleeves were just supposed to be red or black, red, silver, not the reverse, the whole reverse backwards thing. I can't talk today, I'm sorry. I did start initially with this sort of off tan skin color, and then I went, after I'd finished coloring everything in, I was about to start shading, and I was looking at her skin, and I was like, what if I make it paler? And then I kind of tried that. I'm like, nah, what if I make it darker? And I was kind of like, what if I make it a weird color? And I was like, oh. So then, like, for the next 30 minutes, I just was changing the color of her skin, blue and purple and red and lavender, and I was being so indecisive. It was really bad. I eventually went with, I had pulled the image of the butterfly back up and noticed that there was sort of a reddish color on its main body, on the fuzzy part of its body. I was like, oh, well, let's try and do something with that. So I eventually got this kind of crimson maroony, kind of strange color, and I really liked how it looked. I was kind of afraid with the darker red colors that she'd end up looking too like demoness rather than fairy, but I think it works really well, especially considering she is a dark fairy. And I guess it really does depend on whose idea of a dark fairy you're going by, of dark creatures in general, because, a lot of times, well, they never see light, so that means they'd obviously be very pale, but then, you have the drow elves who are just like basically just purple-black. So I again messed around with the colors quite a bit with her skin, and I initially wasn't going to give her shoes. Sorry, I'm jumping around a lot with what I'm talking about, but I wasn't initially going to give her shoes, and then I was like, she'd probably have shoes. I also just kind of didn't want to draw her feet. Like, I didn't want to draw her toes. I wasn't in a toe drawing mood. I'm really happy with how her wings turn out. I think they're like one of my favorite part of the picture is how I managed to get the wings to look. I think that's all I have to say for now. I'll let you watch the drawing. I had initially planned to do like an actual background, like I was gonna have like a tree that she was gonna come out of, and there was gonna be other like stuff silhouetted in the background. But I had done that gradient in the back just to kind of give myself color in the background, and I kind of liked the concept of just the darkness below and the lightness above, so I kind of just elaborated on that and went with it. And this is what I got, and I'm very happy with it. And if you enjoyed it, I hope you'll join me and maybe hit the subscribe and hopefully the like button, and join me next week. See you then.